Ooh, that looks tasty. All right, this is what we're going to do. Just the five of us. We're going to get on this ship and we're going to sail out into the ocean riddled with demons and other dangers. And why are we going to do this? We're going to get out there and we're going to do it because there are angel statues out there on those islands. And we're going to get there and we're going to wake them up. And yes, Donnie, we'll be near the In-N-Out Burger. Welcome folks, Stay the Hungry Gamer is back with another Kickstarter preview, and today we are talking about Eos, Island of Angels, designed by Felix Murticat and published by Gray Fox Games. And I do apologize if I mispronounced any of those names. Now what Eos is it is a worker placement, action selection, tableau building, kind of, sort of, pick up and deliver style game. And if that sounds like a lot, you're correct. It is. It's a whole bunch of different things, and we're going to see how those all come together. And at the same time, I should also say that it is highly asymmetric, and in this game, you are sailing about the ocean here, and you are trying to awaken these frozen angels around this island that have been turned to stone, and you are trying to bring them back, at the same time dealing with these various demons all over the place as well. Before I go any further, please make sure you turn on your Klingon subtitles, because if I make any errors in the rules overview, that's where you'll find the corrections. And finally, this is just a prototype, and everything will be subject to change. There are several placeholder bits. There's a bunch of just regular cubes and tiny meeples. In fact, this is just on a foam board printed out, so the quality will be significantly higher. Now, if you are not interested in how this game is played and just want to jump into my final thoughts, then you want to go to the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about how this game is played as much as we can, because there is quite a bit going on. So the first thing I'll say is what you're seeing here is you're seeing the game board, which is a rather large game board. And around the side, we have our points as we go on. However, down here at the bottom, we have some other tracks. So we have our victory points, then we have this glory track that you're going to be getting as you're killing demons, which is going to be giving you points as you go through. And all the way down here, we have the chronicle track, which is your in-game timer. Also, you'll be putting your own personal cubes out here, claiming the points every time you defeat a demon lord or awaken an angel. More about that in just a bit, but as you go through, when all of these are filled up, that will be the in-game trigger, and you start further back or further forward, depending on how many players you are playing with. Now, you will also see out here on the board various things that are marked on the board. And anytime your ship, again, this is just a placeholder ship, your ship crosses over one of those, you're going to wind up getting that benefit, whether it be a journey card like here, whether it just be some glory, whether it be some money, etc., 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 or one of these danger threat cards that you have to draw every time you go through those. Additionally, you'll see there are spaces for these quests on the board. And these are places where you can go, and each one's going to tell you exactly what it is that you have to do in order to accomplish it. But if you succeed, then you will wind up getting to claim one of those spots at the bottom of the board as well. And I will point out that there are going to be a lot of options of these different quests, so you'll be able to have different ones out there each time, and when you complete it, you just will be able to flip it over. And so that's actually the core of what it is that you're seeing here. Most of what I have to tell you is going to take place on your individual player board. And as I said, each one of these is going to be different depending on which faction you are playing. So for the moment, I will set up right here the Kusan, and each of the different factions has their own special ability that they start with, and that'll be explained to you right here. But mostly what we have here are we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different members of your crew that you're going to be able to activate throughout the game. And each one will have their own amount of different meeples that you have along with it, as well as its own unique shipboard, which is in this case right here. Now we're looking at a lot here, but I'm going to give us the quick rundown of what's going to happen. The very first thing that you're going to do on your turn is, and I will also point out that over here, each of the different ships will have a different starting bonus and starting ability as well. Now what's going to happen is the very first turn of the game, you will start by taking a ship action. And when you do that, you unexhaust your nation board. That means if you have any meeples out over here, you bring all of them back. Then you do a sail action. And just like with each of the faction boards, each player is going to start out with their own unique set of cards. I'll point out that one of them here has the recycle symbol on it, which means you always get this one back into your hand. But all of the other cards that you can get in the game, and this is just about maybe a third of them, all are going to be ones that after you use them, they are gone. You'll take them, you'll flip them over, and they'll be worth points at the end of the game. But talking about the ship action, when you play one, you'll get to move your ship however many spaces it says on there, and then you'll get whatever the bonus is down at the bottom. In this case, if I were to take this one, I can move my ship 2 spaces on the board, which would give me 2 shields and 50 coins. If we remember looking at our board here, we have all these spaces, so if I were to move 2 spaces, I could simply go 1, 2, I could go 1, 2, wherever it is that I want. And again, if you cross any of these spaces here, you're going to have to wind up drawing one of the threat cards, which will tell you exactly what's going to happen. In this case, draw 1 Demon Lord and suffer its attack, then discard it and don't spawn it. And I'll explain that in just a minute. Then after you've done your sail action, you make sure you have only 3 cards in your hand, and then you execute any bonus effects. And what you'll see here is there are these lines that cross over in all of these different spaces here. Well, those are different upgrades that you're going to be able to unlock through the game. And again, I'll tell you how to do that in just a minute. But if you have unlocked these, as far as these go, then you get whatever that bonus is. So in this case, when I were to do the Unexhaust My Nation board, if I'd unlock that, I would then gain another ship upgrade, which means I could place another one of these cubes. And again, they will all tell you exactly what it is that they're going to do. And then that would be it for that particular turn. For the bulk of the game, though, you'll be using your little workers here. And what they're going to be doing is they'll be going over here. Now, in the case of this faction, you can use one of these twice, but for the most part, you can only use them 1 time each. And then along with that, and now these discs here are a bit large for what's going on, but there'll be these discs out on the board, and that's going to tell you what it is that you can activate. So just for the moment, I'm just going to place a cube over here so we can see a little bit better. But if I were to activate my scout, then I would pay whatever the cost is right here. In this case, I would have to pay 6 gold, and that would allow me to get a journey card, and out on the board there'll be a choice of 3 journey cards. You can pick any of those or take one from the top of the deck, and then I would get to take a sail action. And again, a sail action, as a reminder, is you're playing one of your cards from your hand, which is going to let you move, and then again will get you 2 points at the end of the game. However, there is a bit more to it. You'll notice right up here there's something called the prepare action. Then every time before you start your turn, you get to do a prepare action. So then I could choose, do I want to reduce all the costs by 15, which now that makes sense. So you see you're going to be paying whatever the cost is. Do I want to get 5 money and then roll the die? Do I want to get 2 swords? Do I want to do a morale boost? Or do I want to roll 2 dice? Now, let's talk about those individually. We'll start out with the morale boost. Each of the different characters is going to have this little thing going up the side. And as you're going, you'll be moving it up one by one and then get whatever rewards on there. But when you get it all the way to the top, you will have the option to awaken an angel or defeat a demon. Again, a little more about those later. So in this case, what I would do is if I got there and I was in the location on the board, like here, that has an angel on it, I could say I'm going to awaken an angel. In which case I don't do any actions down here. I simply move that on up. I would wind up getting that reward there. Everyone else around the table would get half of that reward. And then I would awaken an angel, and I would get to choose, again from a bit of a market, one of these different angels. And all these angels have different abilities that you can use. They might be something that's immediate, that happens immediately, and then has an extra bonus, like this one here, get 100 coins. Then you have a repair action that just gives you 30 coins. Just a one-time thing to upgrade seven ranks, or whatever it may be. And then as a reminder, you would then place a cube down at the bottom of the board, and you're one step closer to that game, to the game ending. Then we have the 2 that have the dice. And so if you roll the dice, there's different faces on there. It might be you increase a rank, you might get a demon, you might get some points, or you might get some coins. Now let's talk about the demons, because every so often you will run into this little triangle symbol with a number in it, and that is how many demons you're going to get. And now the little demons, which are represented by these tiny meeples right now, simply clog up your board. As you're going through, you will be potentially collecting shields that you'll be placing out on your ship, and so if you have a shield, you get a demon, oh great, it just goes there and it does nothing. However, if you don't have any shields out, you're going to start losing access to these different abilities. And so I might have to cover up one of my prepare abilities. I might have to start covering up abilities that I've unlocked over here, or I might have to start covering up things over here. It's all going to depend on kind of where you want to put them. But what it does is it's starting to take away your ability to do things. How do we get rid of them? I'll talk about that in just a moment. Now we'll come over here to the first officer. You'll see this position down here, and I'll move this on over, has this double arrow. So for each one of those that you do, you'll be able to slide one of these discs over on any of these different characters. And again, I only have the one out because it's a little easier for us to focus, I think, than if I have these large ones out. But you'll see, as you move them over, you're getting to do more things. So if I've moved this all the way off the board, anytime I activate my first officer, I'll pay 18 coins, I'll get 3 glory, I'll get to roll the die, and advance 2 of any of these workers. I'll get to advance their cube twice. Over here, we already talked about, those are ship upgrades. We'll talk about the shield in just a moment. Over here, it's just morale boost, and that's the one where we're going up, 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 up. And then over here is where you get to kill little demons. And it is possible to kill demons on someone else's ship, but I won't go into that. And so here you have 2 things you're managing. You have your position here that is moving over. So in this case, if I was here for 10 gold, I could kill 3 little demons. 1, 2, 3, and that's again how you get glory points, if you remember I talked about those earlier. But I am also will be increasing this tracker as well. And this is one of the ways you do it right there. And so if I were to come here, and let's say that we had not just 3 demons, we had our 4 demons on our ship. Well, I could pay 10 and get 1, 2, 3, and then spend one of my swords here for 4. And that's how your shipboard's going to work. Now, as I already mentioned, there's not just the angels. Sometimes you will be getting the demon lords out onto the board, and that's mostly going to happen from down here. As you go across, as you start placing things out, you have to suffer whatever the penalty is above it. So by awakening an angel, that's great, but now I've awakened a demon lord. And the way the demon lords work is like this. You draw the first one from the deck, and you will then place the demon lord pawn. In this case, I just have one of these little red meeples onto the position on the map that's numbered. So I'd find space 10 on the map and I'd put this out. And then when it comes out, it'll make this attack. So in this case, it would be you lose 2 of those ship upgrades and you get 5 little demons. Then each one's going to have an aura that's going to do something to everybody on the table. And they're all different. And then if you kill it, this is your reward. In this case, 5 journey cards and 3 points, in addition to placing one of the chronicles at the bottom of the board, thus getting you closer to the end of the game. It sounds like a lot, but it's not actually all that complicated once you understand what you're doing. Where the complexity starts to come in is, as I said, each of these different factions are completely different. They have different abilities, they have different types of ships, they have different numbers of meeples that that are being put out, different starting bonuses, like this one here starts with 3 shields. It also has 5 different meeples and other bonuses that it starts with here. But you might have something like this one here that only has 3 meeples to start. But at the same time, it also literally comes with the Kraken that you get to play with. And so it's just very, very different the way that you're playing through this. And I'll just put some of these others out here just so you can kind of see what it is that's happening here. I'm going to say that's all there is to it, but I do understand that it was actually a pretty long rules overview, as we're significantly over 10 minutes trying to explain all this. You're going to be playing, just like I said, either taking your ship actions if you wound up with all of your meeples out, or choosing actions out here, moving around the board, doing those quests if you want, or simply gaining the morale that you need and the strength that you need to get past all of those different threat cards to be able to get to the island where the angels are, and then going out and killing those demon lords that are giving you a hard time. However, there is one more thing that I almost forgot. At the beginning of the game, each player will get 2 of these cards here, and they get to pick one. And what that's going to do is give them some in-game scoring bonuses and kind of a way to kind of guide the direction that they're playing. And that's always going to be open information for everybody. So with all that said, what do I like about this game? First of all, I love an asymmetric game. Boy, howdy, do I love an asymmetric game, and this is it in spades. This one, to me, right up there with, I'm going to go with Merchant's Cove as a game where you are very, very asymmetric. And what you are doing is unique to you, but you're still playing that same core game. And this is one of those as well. And as you're playing, your asymmetricness, is that a word? I don't know, it is now, just increases as you play. And I always like that. Yes, everyone has different setups of what their actions can be and what they're going to do. But in addition to that, as you go through, you're getting more and more powers, and that's making you even more and more different. And you're saving angels. As you're saving those angels, those are, again, more powers that you're getting. And as you go through, you're kind of able to kind of tailor your specific player board to what it is that you want to do, how you want to play. Do you want to go and do the epic quest to get your Chronicles? Great, do that. Do you want to go and fight demons? Great, do that. You want to go and awaken angels? Great, do that. And all of those things are there, and so you can choose what you want to do. And I really enjoy that. I always love that. The next thing that I really enjoy about this game is the core action selection of it. It's just like with a game like Scythe, or a game like one of my personal favorites, Theurgy. You can't wait for that to come out, where it's you're taking different actions every turn. This one does have a little twist on, not really. And you're taking different actions every turn, and you're trying to kind of work out your specific strategy as you're going. And I really like that. But what this one does that's particularly interesting to me is as you're playing, you're upgrading not only all the different abilities that you have and your bonuses you have from your ship, but you're also upgrading each of the different crew members. And as you're doing that, you're again developing your own strategy. And I just think that is really, really fun. I also really appreciate that this game, to me, feels like a pick up and deliver game. I know it's not really, but it feels like the pick up and deliver game that I have been looking for. Because I do not, all this junk I got back here, I do not have a pick up and deliver game. Zero. None. And this one, and the reason I don't have them is either they're too long, or they just weren't exciting to me, so they just don't stay on my shelf. But this one is feeling some of that same desire that I have in the pick up and deliver game. Because even though, again, it's not really a pick up and deliver game, but you are building up your stuff and you're gathering and you're making your crew stronger and stronger so that you can kind of go down and boom, do the job, you're done, you move on. And again, no, it's not pick up and deliver, but it has that same feeling to me, which I really like. I also really like the way that you're going through, you're assigning your actions, then everything comes back, and then you're doing your ship actions. And in some ways, what that's doing is it's making you continue to sail, because you can just forget that you are on a ship and you're supposed to be sailing around all these other actions that you're doing. It's really easy to forget that. But you pull back, you have to do a sail action. You don't have to move, but you get the idea. And so it's always keeping you moving. And because you have to do that every so often, it means that that's encouraging you to buy those ship upgrades, which again is going to kind of make you want to take the quartermaster ability. By taking the quartermaster ability, that makes you want to take the other crew member so you can upgrade that quartermaster to do the. And so it just is kind of this cycle of you keep wanting to build and build and build and build and build, and you never really feel like you've done everything. And that is really, really good. And that's a really good feeling, and it's really fun. And it works, again, because you're placing your pawns out, then you have to pull them back. And then when you combine with that there are ways to upgrade the ship even. There's quests you can sometimes go on which it actually upgrades your ship, and that might change how often you're doing these ship actions and so on and so on. And it just really works. Everything about this game, I think, works really well. So what are my quibbles with the game? And the first one is you are tracking a lot of stuff. You are tracking your pawns that you're putting out onto the board. You are tracking your morale going up and down. You're tracking your upgrades going right and left. You're tracking all the cubes that you're taking off of your board so you have bought that ship upgrade. You are tracking your little shields that you're putting up. You are tracking your swords that you're moving over. You are tracking the demons that are coming onto your boat. You are tracking all of the coins that you are getting and that you are spending every single round. You are tracking where your ship is. You are tracking what is going on with your various angels that you have unlocked. You are tracking. I haven't even talked about that there are two different ways you're scoring points on the board. You're tracking the glory going up, and and sometimes that glory, as that goes up, that makes your points go up, and you're tracking your points going up, and you're tracking the chronicles on the board. It's a lot. It's just a lot of stuff to keep in your head, and that is just for you. Not even talking about looking at what other people are doing. My next quibble with the game is there's not a ton of interaction. It feels like there should be a ton of interaction in this game. It feels like you should be going across and, pirating each other and fighting, but you're not. Sometimes you will wind up causing little demons to show up on someone else's ship, and sometimes you'll be fighting demons on their ship. But for the most part, the interaction is coming with the race aspect. The first person to be able to go and awaken these angels, or deliver the hero to awaken the angels, whatever it might be. And so you do have to pay attention to what people are doing, but you can fall into the mode where you're not really have your eyes up and across the board at what's going on. And that might not be what you're looking for in a game like this. That's it, folks. I think Igos is a fun game. It really is a fun game. When I first started learning, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. There's so many things going on. But then I played a turn, I was like, oh, this is actually really easy. And it is easy once you have taken it in. It is easy to play, and I really do enjoy it. It is a game that I want to play again. Absolutely. I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be a blast. That is with the caveat that you are as excited as I am about the things that I said I'm excited about. There you have it, folks. That is Eos. I'm pretty excited to eventually get to play a real copy of this sometime. Until then, I will have to enjoy the prototype and the tabletop simulator module, which I highly recommend trying out if you're able to do that. It is truly a fun game. Takes a little bit to learn, but once you get it, it is really, really worthwhile. So there you have it, folks. That is Eos. As always, if I made any mistakes in the rules overview, please let me know in the comments with a timestamp. I'll get that into the Klingon subtitle. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.